So for the scientific aspects of our world model, this is a model of all the components underground. So to start off, this is a transform plate boundary. As you can see, the black layer, which is the tectonic plates, move sideways, so they don't actually cross over, but they move sideways, creating pressure. And so to this side, this is the inner core, the gold area, and then the outer core, then the mantle, and the mantle is split up into the asthenosphere, which is this orangey red part, and the upper part is the lithosphere, which is the brown area. Now in the asthenosphere there are mantle convections, which keep lava flowing, and here is an oceanic continental convergence. So as you can see, this black plate is the oceanic plate, and this brown plate is the continental plate, and since the oceanic plate is much heavier, it sinks below and creating a subduction zone and a trench right here. And when an oceanic plate opens up under a hotspot, magma is free to flow up into creating a volcano. Now this is a composite volcano because of its structure is very tall and steep, and much smaller than a shield volcano, which is much wider in distance and much shorter because it looks like a shield. So continuing on is the continental divergence. So what happens here is two continental plates are moving away from each other, which creates a rift valley. So a valley in the earth, and yeah. So here is a continental convergence. So when two continental plates, this top brown area, converge, so they get closer, neither of the plates are denser or heavy enough to go under another, so what they do is they squish together and creating mountain ranges, which is the reason for those mountains. Also here is a shallow focus earthquake, which is 0 to 70 meters below sea level, and as you can see, these markings indicate the waves traveling from the focus of the earthquake. So as you can see, this is P waves, or primary waves. They move the fastest in almost a straight line, like a they move in a straight line, and they're the first to reach the first to get to the scene. Next are secondary waves, which move in an S-like pattern, and they usually arrive second. And last are the surface waves, or L waves, and they move like regular ocean waves in this kind of fashion, as you can see. And since the shallow focus earthquake is 0 to 70 meters, and a deep focus earthquake is 300 meters below or lower. And next is an oceanic convergence. So what happens here when two oceanic plates collide? The denser, more heavier plate sinks below, and the other plate goes above, and which brings up hot magma, and those form into volcanic island arcs, which is a line of islands. And here is this is the sea floor. This is an ocean ridge created by a oceanic plate divergence. So as the two oceanic plates diverge, as they move further, hot magma is spewed up into here, and once they reach the water, it creates into new rock. As these new rocks are created, it pushes the old rocks aside, which is called the ridge push. And as you can see, these are the old rocks, and as they get further away from the center of the ridge, the older they become. As you see, they are actually patterned because of magnetic striping, so their magnetic alignment is switched over thousands of years. And I think I covered everything, so that is the scientific model.
Okay, so for the social aspect of our project, the Arrow tribe uh, is basically very common with other tribes. The Arrow tribe has one chief who rules the tribe and is usually the leader, makes the final decision. The culture for the diet for the Arrow tribe mostly contains mushrooms. As you guys can probably see, it's a mushroom-based society, so our main food source and everything we worship is based on mushrooms. We To get our protein, we usually eat small animals and water, but we do not usually eat more than that because we eat wherever we find. The beliefs of our culture is that the mushroom created all life, is basically our god, and the dragon is behind all natural disasters, as he's the opposite of the mushroom. He creates all death, and he lives beyond the mushroom ring, causing problems to us when we decide to cross the boundary. And the sun is a girl because in the Aboriginal story, her light was take. She took all the light, and now they created this. Now she's a sun. So for our culture, our shelters are made out of mushroom stalks. We use the resources around us, and since we have a lot of mushrooms, we decided to use that to create our houses and our living quarters. For weapons, we use spears and boomerangs to hunt. Using these weapons, we can find all the animals we need, but besides that, we usually gather mushrooms, taking them from the ground, cooking them. For music, we use drums and we usually sing. We don't have a very, very, mm, uh, we don't have a variety of instruments to use for music, so we use simple drums and singing to entertain us in our free times and as a group. Um, we are not the very artsy type of community, but we like to do drawings in the dirt of mushrooms and dragons and basically things about our gods. And yeah, that's basically how we live.
Now let's take a look at some of the Era tribe's traditional stories.
Long ago, in the land of the Era tribe, there lived a dragon that breathed fire. Every year, it chose one victim to prey on, in exchange for peace that year. One year, the dragon was feeling greedy and chose a chief of the tribe. This chief was the bravest, most honorable man in the tribe, and many wept at the loss of him. The chief could not bear to see his people so sorrowful, so he decided that he would try to slay the dragon. He prayed to his ancestors, the spirits of the stars, to help him capture the dragon. The chief traveled to the cave where the dragon lived, carrying a spear with him. He could only dodge the dragon's fireballs for a while, but eventually he came up with an idea. There were deep craters where the fireballs had hit the ground, which he could use to trap the dragon in. So he led the dragon into one of the holes and buried it when it fell in. The dragon is still trapped there to this day, and the people of the Era tribe live relatively in peace, except for occasional moments when the dragon manages to break through the earth's surface. When it stirs under the ground, earthquakes and landslides occur, and mountains are formed. When it breathes hard, fire shoots up from the ground in the form of a volcano.